for you. Now, even though the story's about me, it's really about you because it's got those 3 takeaways you can apply to your life. Where I'm from, if you can't tell, I'm not originally from New Hampshire. I grew up in South Philly. Now that's South Philadelphia. Is there any hockey fans in here?
But Bruins.
Hey, they deserve it.
Yeah, okay, good. All right. Montreal tonight. So.
Oh, that's.
Did you know there's it's funny, when teams are playing well, it's always we. When the team is no good, it's they. That's, anyway.
It's still Bruins.
Philadelphia.
Oh, they deserve it, right? They
I didn't Philadelphia deserve it.
Yeah, awesome. So, I'm originally from South Philly, if you couldn't tell. And
I'm a Bruins fan.
South Philly is kind of an interesting place. I mean, I knew a lot of interesting people growing up. I mean, I don't know if anyone has ever seen movies like Goodfellas or Untouchables, movies like that.
Rocky.
Rocky is another one, but I'm thinking more of the mafia type movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you would swear that the casting agents from those Hollywood flicks went to certain neighborhoods and they said, "Hey, you, come with me. We need your help. We're making a mafia movie." You know? I just knew a lot of interesting characters growing up. I mean, in South Philly, we didn't say, "How are you doing?" We said, "How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?" We didn't say, "Did you eat?" We said, "G." G? What's G? And it's like, you know, Vinny bag of donuts, you know, guys like that. We didn't say forget about it. So forget about it. It's one word. Forget about it. And my 2 little girls, Julie and Marissa, it was close to the Christmas holidays one year, and I was telling them, I said, "Girls, when Daddy was growing up, Santa Claus, he didn't say ho ho ho." And they said, "What did he say, Daddy?" I said, "He said yo yo yo." Get out of here! I'm not telling you. So that's South Philly. That's where I'm from. Now I graduated high school a long, long time ago. It was June 1997, and I was sitting down with my counselor. I say that real quiet, just put it in there. I was sitting down with my high school counselor. He said, "Mike, you're kind of a C and B student. That means I see more C's than I see B's. But I want to thank you because it's your half of the class that makes the top half possible." But I'm not worried about these C's and these B's. What I'm really worried about are these SAT scores.
Oh, yeah.
See, these SAT scores are so low, they're only a couple hundred points higher than what you get for putting your name on the test. I'm not sure what happened that day, but between these SAT scores and the fact that you're a C and B student, well, guess what? These universities here in Philadelphia, Temple, LaSalle, St. Joe's, prestigious universities, what do you say? South Philly word. Forget about it.
Forget about it.
It's Community College of Philadelphia for you. And that was fine with me. I accepted that. So fall of 1997, I'm registered for Community College of Philadelphia. Now I'm just going to, before I resume, I'm going to rewind back a few years. When I was 13, I started training in martial arts. And I really did fall in love with my martial arts training. Not just the physical aspects of it, but I really did enjoy helping others learn it. Even if I just knew a little more than they did, I wanted to show them, well, let me show you how that works. And I looked up at the people who own the studio, and I said, wow, you know, these people, they make a pretty good living, but more importantly, they do something they enjoy for a living. I wonder maybe I can do that someday. But of course, on the what do you want to be when you grow up test, there's no answer for business owner or entrepreneur, especially, you know, there's no answer for martial arts business owner. So you start to go down that traditional path, which is necessary for a lot of people. So fast forward, beginning of senior year in high school, my parents sat me down. They said, "Mike, we paid for your Catholic school tuition. We paid for your martial arts classes. Well, you know, we need some help. Why don't you go get a job? You know, buy your own sneakers, things like that. You know, make your own spending money. You're 16 now. You can legally work in Pennsylvania." So I said, okay, you know, and so I went and I got a job as a bagger at a local supermarket. And get this, in 1996, I was awarded, I earned the prestigious J.D. Power & Associates Bagger of the Year Award. Now, it wasn't the J.D. Power & Associates Bagger of the Year, but it was the Bagger of the Year Award. I was so good, they moved me up to being a cashier. You know, beep, beep. So I did that all through senior year in high school, and here I was, September 1997, first 2 days of community college. I dropped out, took all the wrong classes, all the wrong reasons, had absolutely no interest at all in what I was doing. So I was on a shift at the supermarket and I was on break. She said, "Oh, this is a twist of the story." She's saying, "What happened now? Wait a minute, I'll tell you." So I was on break at a shift at the supermarket. On break with me at the exact moment in time was a gentleman named Bruno. I told you about South Philly. Now picture the stereotype, right? if there's a guy named Bruno from South Philly, I mean, what do you see? You know, you see like a tough guy, right?
Yeah.
You know, the one who knocks on the door when it's time to pay up, right?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he's got a shirt like this, but it's a little more unbuttoned. You can see his gold chain, his chest hair. A lot of South Philly Brunos are tough guys. This particular Bruno did not fit the stereotype. He did not look like a tough guy. He actually looked more like Jerry's buddy George from Seinfeld. And get this about Bruno. So he didn't fit the stereotypical South Philly Bruno. But get this about Bruno. He lived at home with his mother. And he had worked in that storefront like 15, 20 years, had no other ambitions. Now finish this for me. Don't judge a book by its
Cover.
We've all heard that before, but we do. We judge books by its cover all day long. And I can see the judgment in your eyes. No, just kidding. So Bruno, kind of, you know, you can admit it, you know, he looks like some sort of loser or something. So a lot of people would dismiss Bruno. But see, I knew a little secret about Bruno. I knew that he was actually a pretty smart guy. Just happened to take on the role of looking after Mom in her older years. That's all. And I was sitting on break, and we were on break at the same time, and he said, Mike, how's school going? I said, well, it's not too good. I sort of dropped out. He said, uh-oh, what are you going to do now, hotshot? I said, I don't know, but I'm not going to work here the rest of my life like you. Ha, ha, ha. He said, no, seriously, what are you going to do? I said, I don't know. He said, I got an idea for you. I said, sure. Now, here's the first takeaway. See, I'm glad I was listening to Bruno. I'm glad my mind was open. This is like a parachute, right? It only works when it's open. It's like an umbrella. It only works when it's open. I mean, the opposite of that is, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Zig Ziglar. He says, the opposite of that is the concrete mind, you know, all mixed up and permanently set. That's the concrete mind, Zig Ziglar. But I'm glad my mind was open. Because Bruno gave me this idea. He said, Mike, you know, here's an idea. You're in martial arts. You enjoy doing it. You've taught it before. All that other stuff, right? You're good at it. Yeah, all the above. He said, well, Mike, you have a marketable skill. I said, I mean, I was 17 now at the time. Just left, you know, 2 days of college. I'm not a smart kid. He says, yeah, I said, what's a marketable skill? He said, well, think about it. If you paid to learn martial arts, why wouldn't someone else pay you for what you know if you're good at it? I said, yes. He said, you can make a business out of that. So I went home and I got to thinking, I don't know, business, martial arts, marketable skill. Wow, maybe I can actually do that. And I didn't think too long, which is the second takeaway, is I took some action. So within 3 months, I opened my first little business. It was a martial arts studio in a decent South Philly neighborhood. I was back at community college, this time taking business and management classes. All because one person said something and my mind was open. So the first 2 takeaways. Keep that mind open. Take some action. Now things started off really well. I had like 30 customers in about 30 days or so. I was really loving life. And then things started to kind of level off. And I started to wonder, I started to look around. I said, what is it that makes some people successful? What is it that makes some people, small businesses grow, while others seem to stay mediocre? What are some of the common denominators? And I started to find and search for common denominators, and I'm still finding and searching for common denominators today. But one I found early on, I'm really grateful that I found it early on, this is the 3rd takeaway, is somebody handed me a tape. It was by a guy named Tom Hopkins, and it was called Selling for Dummies. Now first you kind of look at the title and you kind of wonder when someone's handing you a tape, and you wonder what they're trying to say to you. But the tape was, see, we're all in selling. We're all selling our skills, our personal services. And what is selling? Selling is just to say things in a certain way, to present mutually beneficial opportunities to somebody, and get them to pay attention, get them to listen, get them to say yes to something that's going to be good for everybody. That's really what selling is. So I listened to this tape over and over again. It was all about that. And I would apply it to my business.